Well, good morning, family. It is Friday, the 1st of May, and we have another daily devotional for you. This morning I was in Hebrews chapter 6, and of course, at the end of Hebrews 6, there's this wonderful, wonderful verse 19, that says that we have this sure and steadfast anchor of the soul. Every person who's in Boys Brigade will know this verse. A hope that enters into the inner place behind the curtain. So we have this steadfast hope, this anchor, sure and steadfast anchor for the soul. A hope that enters into the inner place past the curtain. And this verse excites me so much because in this verse we know that our hope is sure, it is steadfast, it is an anchor for the soul. Why is that? Because the verse immediately beforehand says it is impossible for God to lie. It's impossible for God to lie in two senses. First of all, it's impossible for God to lie in the sense that he always tells the truth. And secondly, it's impossible for God to lie because whatever he speaks comes into being, right? So we have this sure and steadfast hope because it's impossible to lie. God has backed up his promises with his name. He has backed up what Jesus did on the cross for us. He has backed up the resurrection. He has backed up the giving of the Holy Spirit with his word. And it is sure, it is steadfast, it is an anchor for the soul. So I don't know what you're going through. I don't know what storms of life you're going through at the moment. But Jesus is your sure and your steadfast hope. He is the anchor for your soul. If you feel like you're drifting all over the place or going in every direction or whatever, Jesus is the anchor. Jesus is the anchor. And then there's a second part of this verse which really excites me. It says, a hope that enters into the inner place behind the curtain. Do you know, that's a reference to the Holy of Holies, right? In the tabernacle and in the temple, the very most holy place where the Ark of the Covenant was called the Holy of Holies. And it looked like a cube. It was 20 cubits by 20 cubits by 20 cubits. It was 10 meters cubed. And it was this space which was so holy, only the high priest could enter there once a year on a Day of Atonement to make atonement for the people. He would go in with a chain wrapped around his ankle so that if he died by seeing God, by seeing the presence of God, then they could drag him out from behind this curtain, this thick curtain that separated the God and his glory and his majesty and his presence from the rest of the world, from just the holy place or from the courts, the place where the people gathered. And so the writer of the Hebrews is saying, listen, we get to go into that most holy place. We get to go in because Jesus, our great high priest, has already gone in. So the amazing thing was whenever Jesus was crucified, that curtain, that veil that separated the most holy place from everywhere else was torn from top to bottom. God ripped it open. And it was so that it was saying, listen, the presence of God, his glory, his majesty is available for everyone now because God has dealt with sin. It's interesting, there were guards who kept guard over the tabernacle in the days of Moses. And the interesting thing for them keeping over the tabernacle, it wasn't that they were protecting the tabernacle from the people. It was they were protecting the people from the tabernacle. They were protecting the people from the glory and majesty and holiness of God. Because if people saw God as he is, if they experienced his full holiness, if they experienced his full glory, even just a minuscule fraction of his glory, they'd be vaporized like that. Just because of the radiance of his glory. But the writer of the Hebrews is saying is because of what Jesus has done, because we have this sure and steadfast hope, we can enter into that place. We can pass by the curtain because the curtain's been torn in two. We can go into that most holy place, that Holy of Holies. Now, of course, the Holy of Holies now isn't found in a cube, in a tent, or in a building in Jerusalem or in Israel or in the desert, in the wilderness or whatever. The Holy of Holies is in that place in our hearts where we connect with the Lord, right? Because now you're the temple of the Holy Spirit if you believe in Jesus. But there's also another Holy of Holies in the Bible, and this is what really excites me. Whenever we see the New Jerusalem come down from heaven in Revelation 21, its dimensions are of a cube. Its dimensions are of a cube. And the only other place you see a cube in the Bible is in the Holy of Holies. But the dimensions aren't 10 meters cubed. They're 1,400 miles cubed. I mean, that's from Dundee to Madrid, right? That there is a huge distance. And what the Bible is saying in that is that not only has God made a way for his people to enter into his presence and to experience his glory and his goodness in full manner, but actually that's the place where we all get to live. That the ultimate picture of the bride of Christ, because this New Jerusalem is called the bride of Christ, the ultimate picture of the church is a place where God's glory dwells in its fullness. That's something to look forward to, guys. And that's a hope that we have as well. But that hope is always based on the sure and steadfast anchor of Jesus Christ, of God's promises, because he doesn't lie, and because of all that Jesus has done for us. Hey, listen, you have a great day. I'm excited for Sunday, and I'm excited to get to see what God does in our midst. Hey, bless you guys. Have an awesome weekend.